Oh, hi.
Yo.
So, okay, today our group will be presenting about our case study on our workshop technology. Well, there's supposed to be four of us, but one is away. It's okay. Each of us will be presenting about the topics in the presentation. So without further ado, let's get started.
In this project, we chose this picnic table as our example product of welding application. It is simple square tube design that is sturdy and can be replaced just about anywhere. It also has a larger base with two square metal tube posts rising up from the center. Next, type of welding used. The type of welding that we use to create our product is metal inert gas, also known as MIG. This type of welding is an arc welding process that uses a continuous solid wire electrode heat and fed into the weld pool from a welding gun. The two base materials are melted together forming a joint. The gun feeds a shielding gas alongside the electrode, helping other protect to the weld pool from airborne contaminant. Basic concept of metal inert gas (MIG). First, safety first. Before tackling any welding project, make sure you have the proper safety apparel and that any potential fire hazard are removed from the welding area. Basic welding safety apparel includes safety boot, full-length pants, a long-sleeve jacket, safety glove, a welding helmet, safety glasses to protect the top of your head from a spark and spatter. Next is metal preparation. Unlike stick and flux core electrode, which have higher amount of special additive, the solid MIG wire does not combat rust, dirt, oil, or other contaminant very well. Use a metal brush or grinder and clean down the bare metal before striking an arc. Make sure your work clamp connect to clean metal too. Any electrical impedance will affect wire feeding performance. Next is equipment preparation. First, check your cable. Before striking an arc, check welding equipment to make sure all of the cable connections are tight fitting and free of fraying or other damage. Second, select electrode polarity. MIG welding requires DC electrode positive or reverse polarity. The polarity connections are usually found on the inside of the machine. Set gas flow. Turn on the shielding gas and set the flow rate to 20 to 25 cubic feet per hour. If you suspect leak in your gas hose, apply a soapy water solution and look for bubbles. If you spot a leak, discard the hose and install a new one. Next, gas selection. 75% argon per 20% carbon dioxide blend, also called 75 per 25% or C25, work as the best all-purpose shielding gas for carbon steel. It produces the least amount of spatter, best bed appearance, and won't promote burn truth on thinner metal. 100% CO2 or carbon dioxide provide deeper penetration but also increase spatter, and the bed will be rough with 75 per 25%. Next is voltage and amperage. How much voltage and amperage a weld requires depends on numerous variables including metal joint configuration, welding position, shielding gas, and wire diameter, speed, among others. Use a convenient reference to fine-tune the welding arc to your personal preference. Next is the technique. When MIG welding mild steel, you can use either the push or pull technique, but usually offer a better view and enable you to better direct wire into the joint.
So now I'll be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of metal inert gas or MIG. What's bad and what's good? What are the advantages and what disadvantages? Firstly, the advantages of MIG is 1. MIG welding is fast. MIG welding is fast, whether in the hands of a welding novice or a seasoned fabrication specialist. Why? Because MIG's method of continuously feeding wire makes it an easier technique to handle than other welding types. 2. Ease of use. The one-handed operation of the MIG torch and the automation of several other aspects make MIG welding easier to learn and gain proficiency with than other welding types. 3. MIG weld quality. MIG welding allows you to quickly make very high quality welds faster than other welding techniques. MIG is flux-free, so there's no chance of entrapping slag in the weld. The 4th advantage is long pass welding. You're able to deposit more weld metal with each pass of the MIG torch. But when you have a long complex weld to make, you can get the job done with fewer passes, which saves time. This helps you work more efficiently and helps you work more profitably. The 5th advantage is MIG welding is clean. MIG welding is really mess-free because there's no flux that can trap in your weld. This is the key to high quality welds. It also has a protective gas shield to protect the weld from oxidizing. 6th advantage is fewer stops and starts. Less time is spent on stopping and removing the slag and replacing welding rods. Now I'll be talking about the disadvantages of MIG. The first disadvantage is it needs more maintenance. It has more maintenance requirements than other welding types. The second is portability, which means that it's very heavy. The wire welder is not a very portable machine because it requires gas, rolls of wire, and is very heavy. The third one is burn through. Because with certain materials, not least aluminum, there's a risk of burn through if your workpiece is less than 5 millimeters. The fourth, loss of gas. It needs a shielding gas to protect the weld. If there is a strong wind, the shielding gas will be pushed away from the weld. And the fifth disadvantage is it needs to be clean. By what I mean is, the surface area needs to be clean before you start welding. And the sixth one, more cost in consumables. Consumables are the parts on your welder that get replaced regularly, such as 1. Welding tips, 2. Welding nozzles, and 3. Weld liners. Well, they cost a lot over time, especially if you are running a lot of production.
I want to present about types of joints applied on the product example. First joint is the joint. Joint that is made when two pieces of metal are placed together to form a T. A 90-degree joint. The type of weld on this joint is called a fillet weld. Keep the gap at the 45-degree angle or equal distance from each piece. When making multiple weld passes, the work angles change slightly. This helps avoid uneven weld, beads, and undercuts. The second joint is corner joint. This is a joint made when two pieces of metal are placed at right angles to each other to make a 90-degree angle. To weld the corner joint of the pieces must weld inside between the two of pieces. Also mostly weld the both sides. The last joint is edge joint. This joint is formed by placing two pieces of metal parallel to one another or by stacking one on top of the other. To weld the type of each joint, that must to weld at the edge of pieces, also must to weld both sides.
Okay, now I will explain about safety element. Before we start operating the MIG equipment, we should know that we should be equipped with safety tools. So the safety tools are: first, welding helmet. It is used to shield our face and neck from spark and radiation. Secondly, we should wear welding gloves. This is to protect ourselves from spark, arc burns, and the heat of the workpiece. Thirdly, we should be equipped with safety boots. The reinforcement helps protect the toes from falling objects or any kind of compression. The fourth one will be welding jacket and pants. This is to protect welders from metal splatter and high heat by the use of the fire resistant and thermally insulating materials. The fifth is welding apron. This is used to protect our clothing from hot metal and slag that is generated while welding. Finally, we should wear a respirator. It is used to reduce the wearer's risk of inhaling hazardous airborne particles. Okay, after knowing all the equipment that we should wear, we can now start operating the MIJ welding. Before we operate, we should clean and organize the work area. Then we should remove flammable liquids from the area. Also, don't forget to check the ventilation, remove any jewelry and loose clothing, and finally inspect gas lines for leaks. While we are operating MIJ equipment, we should clear work area from unauthorized personnel. Then position the flash blind in order to protect any nearby personnel. Thirdly, check cable position to avoid any damaged fuse box or materials that can fail. The fourth one will be check all equipment settings. Much of a risk from welding fumes and smoke can be reduced by using a shielding gas with a higher percentage of argon and full spray mode of transfer. Remember that wire feeder pushes the wire, so there is no need to push gun into up. Keep nozzles free of spatter. Spatter can build up and electrically connect insulated nozzles to contact tube. A clean nozzle will have spatter fall off on its own. You can use an anti-spatter compound on nozzles and gun and contact tube end. Whatever you do, do not clean the nozzle by pounding it on a hard surface. It can break and become damaged. After we finish using the MIJ equipment, we turn off the machine, then firmly close the gas cylinder, and finally return the welding gun to the storage.
Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for watching our presentation. Thank you.
Arigato,
Let's go.